Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all your favorite horror movies. My name is Taco, and this is Marie Wilson. How's it going?
It's good.
I wanted to steal. I always stole "Whose Line Is It Anyways" opener, and I wanted to do a new one. And I was watching the Kill Counts, and I was like, just doing the Kill Count because it makes no sense for the opener. So we're telling the victims in all your favorite horror movies. Not at all what we're doing.
No.
I'm just weird. It was between that or Philip DeFranco's opening. What's up, you beautiful bastards? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome back to Philip DeFranco Show, and let's just jump into it. I watch a lot of YouTube. Okay, how is it go? Let's just jump into it for real, though. Not just for a joke. You ever see that there's actually people watching and you wonder, is it just because I accidentally left my YouTube upstairs now? We have a very laid back show for you guys. We're just going to be discussing our favorite moments. I don't have mine set up to my top whatever. It's just I have 5. Mm-hmm. And we did have somebody who sent in some, and I'll go through that person's picks as well. And and also if you guys want to put in your favorite moments of Star Wars, just put them in the comment and we'll talk about it as if one of us said it, So that's it. Let's watch a bunch of turtles hug a rat. And do you have anything to say before you go? Oh, hi, by the way. Do you have anything to say before we start?
I also, mine are not in any particular order. So yeah, it's just 5 that mean a lot to me, or that I really, really like, that impacted me. So
I had one that I knew I was going to put in here, and then the more I thought about it, the more, because I'm like, oh, this hardcore legends thing, because I'm so cool. And then I'm like, I don't know, man. This one moment from the movies, not even one of the movies I really like, aka not Empire Strikes Back. I was like, yeah, but that still wins over some random moment in a comic book. So I lost my all legends list is one legends thing now. But yeah, I was able to find gifts of a lot of these, but some of them are not good and not right in the moment, but whatever, they're fine.
Yeah,
it'll work. But should we do Double D's picks first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Happy 36th birthday. He just typed that to me and I read it. Double D. So we put these out on Twitter that we're going to do this. And then he's like, oh, it's my birthday. So great. And I was like, cool. DM me your picks. And I was joking. He totally did. And I took him and I made this card. So I literally copy pasted it. So this is how he sent it to me. I got rid of some non sequiturs, but yeah. So here you go. Double D's picks. We have number 5 is the Vader Luke fight from Return of the Jedi. I like that he can do a top 5, but we were too lazy and he did it
yeah, that's an actual
yeah, he actually
5,
has
goes down to 1. Yeah.
All right. He's got the Vader Luke fight in Return of the Jedi. That's funny because I do love that fight, but more. Let's talk about it. I more like the intermission of that fight when Luke's hiding and they're talking and Vader's getting into his mind. That is rough. I love that, especially since it's a good depiction of Dune Ma, of psychological warfare that Vader does. Which I think there's a lot of theorists now where he started doing that more after Obi-Wan because because Obi-Wan kind of gets into his mind, so then he starts to do Dune Ma. Yeah. I like how people justify this show, but I like the intermission of that fight because I do think the choreography of the Empire fight is much better, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah. I just like when I guess it's not really when they're fighting either, but when he says sister.
Yeah.
Like that is chills.
I do think the voice actors are the best performances of the original trilogy. Like James Earl Jones and Frank Oz get better performances than any of the humans, which we'll get to Frank Oz later. But not only that, but when Luke breaks, when he's like, if you don't turn, perhaps she will, and he just goes, comes out pissed, like he broke him, like it worked. And also when he beats Vader, and there's zero time between that and just the heartless cackling of Palpatine, just like he did it the whole time, like he knew it. Oh, so cool. But all right, that's one of Double D's. We'll make a full show out of this if we're going to talk about everyone separately. Yeah, we got this. His Anakin killing Tuscan Raiders. It's a goofy pick. I'm sorry. Because, like, younglings, though. Like, I thought that's where he was going, and I read it wrong. Like, when he massacred Tuscans, I was thinking I was about to read the word younglings. But okay.
One thing I kind of steered away from, because I have one bittersweet moment, so it's like kind of sad, but I didn't choose any that were like, whoa, that is real sad,
Yeah. Oh. Hi, Ben, and hello there. Yeah, I feel you. I have a mixture, and we'll get to it when we get to them, but I have a mixture of, like, impact of the franchise, and then I have a lot of just badass moments. But my main one is, like, I almost cry. Like, it's just a really emotional and amazing performance, and I'm sorry, but there's not a lot of really good performances in these movies. Just, like, acting's not what these movies are made for. I'm sorry. I like that I'm a big Star Wars guy, and I give it so little props. Yeah, I know.
The people who dislike Star Wars the most are Star Wars fans.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah.
But the whole point of our show and the whole point of this channel is not to be negative. So I'm trying to steer away, and even when I know you're going to bring up something from a movie that I hate, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, tell me about it. That scene made me want to throw up. Like, okay, let's talk about it. You enjoyed it, huh? But anyways, I'm gonna be positive today. Positive. I like an adjacent scene from this, and I think you know where I'm going. So not when he's just killing Tuscans, but when he's talking to Padme later, and Hayden Christensen whips out some of his acting for the first time in the movie, and he goes, slaughtered them like animals. Like, it's actually a good moment. Like, that moment's so like, holy crap, buddy.
Yeah, for real.
His crystal and his lightsaber starting to break and turn red as he's just yelling.
And then Padme's, to be angry is to be human.
So, murdering children.
And I'm like, Padme, what are you talking about? Oh my god.
I really wish that when he's like, he was found killing younglings, and Padme's like, again? He said he wouldn't kill children anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but he wanted to go to Tashi Station because of power converters. We all know that means drugs, okay? Everyone knows that Luke wants to go get high with his friends. We all know what that actually means. Be lying, Luke. I think that was Kevin Smith who brought that up in like a Cinema Sins, and that's how I will forever hear that of like, but I want to go and get some power converters. Like, we all know what that means. I want to go and get some spice.
Yeah.
All right. Working our way through Double D's awesome picks. We got, I liked this one. So he brings us to Mortis for Anakin Anakin saving Obi-Wan and Ahsoka from the son and the daughter in Mortis. I believe that's what he's talking about. Yeah. That's one of the best arcs in that show, which makes it one of the best things of Star Wars. I really love Mortis, and like running a Star Wars campaign and not at least contemplating. So how do I do Mortis? Like, how do we do a Mortis? Because there's in one of the books, there's like, so this is how you do a Mortis. Like, go to Mortis. This, it's all symbolic. It's all working in, and none of it can be real. Like, you can make it literally a figment, and then the next day they all wake up on the ship like, did we do that? Like, like if people can die, like you can really go ham on it. And that's all because that episode is so good. And not only that, but it really affected Legends, because that's where Abeloth, and way later on, is the mother in Mortis. So the father's wife, and then she turns super evil with weird freaking Melina for a Mortal Kombat mouth, and Luke, like, she's the most evil, most powerful thing, including all the Palpatine clones and everything that Luke ever fights, and she can just destroy the galaxy, like in a thought, like she's just insanely powerful, and so I love all Mortis stuff, but that is still a really powerful moment, especially when Anakin like blows up and you see that cloud that shapes like Vader's head.
Yeah,
so cool.
The whole Mortis arc is definitely. I, of course, love the foreshadowing, and what happens to Ahsoka is like, that's so scary,
Yeah. I also like it because it's almost like somebody was talking to me about it, and they brought up a interpretation of it I didn't have, where the father, daughter, and son are trying to talk Anakin to staying there and balance the Force. And I yeah, I guess they kind of say that, right? And he's like, yeah, so that's why he's the chosen one. He has always been chosen to stay in Mortis, but because he loves Obi and Anakin, or in Ahsoka, the Force stays unbalanced. And so that was the prophecy. I don't know if I follow, I don't know if I completely subscribe to that, but that is a really cool interpretation of the Mortis arc.
Yeah.
And so this moment that he's talking about right now of him saving them is him literally saying, screw you to the entire prophecy. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Which again, I don't know if that was what they were thinking, but that's a really cool way to look at it.
Huh. I like that.
Oh, well, there you go. We got one vote for it. And then we have, the Obi-Wan and Anakin fight from the Kenobi movie, or Kenobi TV show. You know how I feel about it. I don't want to.
Oh my god! I thought it. I just loved it. I loved the fact that Obi-Wan was at the bottom of that pit and covered in rocks, and it was like the end. And Obi-Wan thought about Luke and Leia, and he realized he had hope, and so.
A new hope.
He made those rocks.
Yeah. We've talked about it. I didn't love the Kenobi series, but I don't think it was made for me. I walked in, and I've had the discussion with you personally, Ben, on our show right on this channel right before it started. But I really don't like the concept of it, and it felt really unneeded for me the entire series. And that all being said, I got all of those emotions that a lot of people got out of that fight. I got out of the Ahsoka Vader fight in Rebels. It felt so beat for beat of kind of recycling those same emotions and those same beats. His mask even gets cut, and he sees, and then Ahsoka has that realization that Anakin is dead and that Vader killed Anakin. Just like now we're watching the exact same realization, but now from Kenobi's point of view. And it just I guess it does kind of answer of why the language of Vader betrayed and murdered your father. I get that, because now that's how he has that interpretation that Vader, like that your father is dead. You know, like, you know, it really puts us into old Ben's shoes. So then later, when he's a Force ghost who can't stand up too long and has to sit on a tree to describe it, we now know why he has that point of view. That was interesting. But, you know, I don't love it. And I honestly forgot a lot of it. Like, a lot of it was in one ear and out the other for that show. And I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't think it was made for me. And I think that, you know, you can answer questions, and that show, the whole point of it didn't answer any questions for me. It seemed like it was just made. I'm not going to say cash grab, but it was made because, you know, they knew people would watch it, and also because Ewan McGregor wanted to do it. And that just doesn't seem like enough justification for me to, like, there's so many stories we can hear. Yeah. And, you know, but I don't want to be negative. I like that it meant something to him, and I like that it meant something to you. You know, that's awesome. Yeah. That's what Star Wars is about. And that's, you know, I have some really dumb stuff on my list. So I'm not going to talk crap. And also, these aren't definitive lists. These are moments that, you know, that we enjoy. And it could be for all kinds of reasons. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The one, I do want to say, the one thing that I didn't understand in the Kenobi series was when Reva says Darth Vader and Obi-Wan's like, what? Darth Vader is alive? Yeah. I'm like, how did you not hear about Darth Vader for that long? Like, what? That didn't make any sense to me. But besides that, I loved the series. I just kind of like accepted that and moved on. I was like, I don't know about that, but it's okay.
And I don't know. I don't want to say anything more negative. I liked Reva, but I feel like she's a rehash of almost the exact same character in Fallen Order of that Padawan. I'm forgetting what sister she is in it, but I'm sorry, but the Inquisitors are not named in ways for me to remember who they are. Like, I'm always like, the seventh? No. Second? No. One of the sisters.
One of
they but I'm glad they actually named Reva, but she has a counterpart in Fallen Order that I really, really enjoy that has a lot of the same character. But I don't know. I don't want to keep talking crap. I'm glad that he enjoyed that fight meant something to him. And I mean, there's a lot I like about that fight too. I like the voice changing from James Earl Jones back to Hayden Christensen, and
that was cool.
That was really cool. I like that a lot. And then last but not least, the "Who's your daddy" moment from Empire Strikes Back. Well, that's like, I thought about putting that on my list, but I didn't, just because it was like such a duh. Like, well, yeah, duh. That changed filmmaking it literally changed film forever, changed pop culture forever. Like, it's one of the most important twists ever. And how it was pulled off, and all the urban legends around it about how only like 3 people knew. Like, you know, it is so important. It is so cool, you know. But yeah, that's why I didn't have it on the list. But I'm assuming we were going to talk about it somehow. And here we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. But all right. Well, happy birthday, Double D, and thanks for twittering your 5 picks to me. And yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Now we can get into ours.
Okay.
Yeah, this is tough. Unless we don't want to. What do you want to talk about?
Let's do it.
Okay. You want to go first, or do I want to? I feel like I've been talking too much. You should go.
I can go first. Okay. So let's start with this one.
Oh.
Rogue One, Jen's speech. Oh my gosh. Like, it gets me revved up every time. I love how confident she is, and how everyone, like, some people are for her, and Radis is like, yeah, let's do it. But then there are all those other, like, Noah Jebel and Vaspar and Tenra Pomlo, who are like, the rebellion is finished, and or don't forget the Imperial pilot. And so all the naysayers like are coming at her, and she's still just like, y'all, come on, like we have to do this.
Yeah, it's a really good scene, and I like everything you just said about it, and I don't know what else to add besides what you just said. It reminds me so much of the Leia and Hoth thing of the like, of the person who looks like the least likely person to start giving a speech about, like, like the little lady is the one who's like, come on guys, blah, 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 blah. And that's what I love about it. But it's been so long since I actually watched Rogue One, and I didn't know any of the names you said except for Raditz. I'm like, well, I know the Mon Calamari, but the humans, I don't know. I kept going like, is this how I sound when I talk about like old Sith?
Yeah. And then that leads into, this is cheating, but that leads into Cassian's speech, where he's like, yeah, I believe you. Like, that sentence in itself, but I believe you, is just like so powerful for her to hear, because she's being ignored, she's being walked over, talked over, and he's like, no, I'm on your side. And when and all these other people behind me are also on your side. Mm-hmm. And then when he says, or when she says, I'm not used to people sticking around, and then he was like, welcome home. And I'm just like, yeah, it's just so good.
And earlier I was talking crap about how humans in this franchise don't have great performances, but both of those performances are so good, and like, yeah, it is great. I know I don't have anything to add besides you summed it up so well, and it's been a while since I watched Rogue One. So.
I actually at one point knew both of those speeches by heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know a speech I'm bringing up, or a monologue later, by heart, but I feel like if you don't know the one I'm bringing up later, then you're not a real Star Wars fan. Gatekeep, just like that gate. Gate kept. Boom. I know. I said it because it's like the worst. the gatekeeping, but
gatekeeping, yeah.
But please, if Ben or whoever else is watching, if you do have a moment you want to throw up, if you want to throw up the moment into the comments, we will totally look at it and we will discuss it, because that's what this episode's about, yo. All right, I have a not as cool or emotional than any of the ones we've talked about. This is strictly a lore one, and I like it a lot. And this is so out of left field, and no one's even going to know what I'm talking about, but I got a GIF. So it's from the, I believe it's called the Homecoming, or no, The Return. The Return trailer of Old Republic that came out a long, long time ago. And it is the future Grandmaster of the Jedi, Satele Shan, and her Jedi Master, Keo Sundarach, are walking through this spaceport that's floating above the Sith Homelord of a Korriban. There you go. Korriban. It's, and out of nowhere, just like 100 Sith destroyers just show up in space, and they're like, and then Keo Sundarach is like, the Sith have returned, and then everyone starts like running to their battle stations. But a ship lands, and Lord Vindican and his apprentice Darth Malgus exit, and you get this great fight between Malgus and Vindican. This isn't the moment. I'm working my way up to the moment. You get this great fight between Malgus and Vindican, or of Malgus Vindican versus Satele Shan and Keo Sundarach. And it ends with Vindican getting mortally wounded and dropping, but not dead. And then Malgus, or Satele Shan runs, and Malgus like kills Keo Sundarach, cuts him in half. and he walks up to Lord Vindican as he's looking out to his homeworld, because Lord Vindican is a pure-blooded Sith, and he's looking at, and he's like, after 1,000 years, the Sith have come home. And then Malgus lights his lightsaber and does this. And he says, welcome home, and kills his master.
Whoa.
I love it. I love it for just how cold-blooded and Sithy it is, but it teaches you so much of, he's almost cordial, and he's almost like, welcome home. Like, it almost feels real. And then he kills him. He's killing him because he failed. Like, he fell in battle. He was mortally wounded. He easily could have survived. This is Star Wars. People get cut in half all the time. But it's the Sith. You stopped being... Like, I just love what it does for the lore and explaining the Sith of, we all work together. But if this guy proves that he's weak, go ahead. Like, you think you're my master? Bam, you failed. And as he's like, yeah, you're right. It's been 1,000 years. I'm a human. I've never seen it before. Welcome home. Yeah. So I had to put welcome home as one of my moments.
Goodness.
Yeah. Love it. And that beautiful shot of Korriban with all the destroyers.
That's a really cool shot.
Yeah. I love that trailer. We got comments. I started. Good one. I agree. It was so hard to take of not doing Grogu moments, honestly. Like, all Grogu moments. Like, I had a couple, but yeah. Bone broth cuddling up against a Rancor for a nappy nap. There's a few really good ones.
I like the macarons.
The macarons?
The cookies?
The little cookies.
Colorful cookies.
When he steals an X-Wing. Lands him. How did that puppet? Stealing cookies? Yeah. I'm not going to play that. That's what you said. Yeah, every single moment. All right. Here we go. We got one for Ben. You have two of two. Birth of Vader and Death of Padme at the exact same time. Well, I don't know if they would call it like the Birth of Vader happened a little bit before when he gets, but I don't know if you were saying that it happened at the exact same time. That was me projecting, but I don't know if it's unpopular. I don't like that Padme dies in that manner just because it makes a line in Return of the Jedi not make sense, because Leia's like has memories of her mother. And then all it was is like, Leia! Like, it's like, oh, that baby retained that? Like, what the hell? Force sensitive indeed. But yes, it is in a vacuum. If you're just watching that movie, it definitely is a powerful scene. Yeah,
I will say that moment made me cry for years.
Really?
Like, yeah. Watching that movie, every time it got to that part where everything was just going so wrong, I would just start crying. Like, and I don't anymore because I've seen it so many times, but
yeah,
in theaters, I was a mess.
I'm not gonna say how I felt when I was watching that movie in theaters.
Because I saw Revenge of the Sith 6 times in theaters.
Twice for me. And the second one was, I was going with my girlfriend and I lied because she's like, did you go do it last night? No. Totally did. And I watched it the whole time. I'm like, whoa. Just pretending to. Who's this Grievous guy? Just faking it the whole time. But yeah, so I did go to it twice. I realized that I didn't love the prequels while I was watching that movie. It was like, it was teenage. I was a teenager, but I realized that the prequels weren't as good. And I know that's so weird to say in front of you, but it makes me feel awkward. It's like me. I feel like I'm insulting your mom's cooking or something. but it was like a weird, one of those weird like everything becomes clear, like a moment of clarity, and like the fog is lifted. I was like halfway through that movie, and I'm like, maybe this isn't that good. And then I like all of the lines in Empire Strikes Back and all the weird direction and weird acting in Phantom Menace all flew through my head at once, and I was like, maybe the prequels aren't good. Like, I just had like a weird, like, oh my God, the prequels aren't good. All in the middle of that movie while I'm in the theater. And I even turned to my friend, like, I don't think these movies are good. Like, it was a weird moment. I later got back into Star Wars, but there was a while there where I thought that George murdered all of Star Wars, and I didn't even watch the original trilogy. But yeah, that was it. That's that's one of my moments. I'm kidding. That's not one of my moments. But I have now turned around on a lot of them, and I have prequel stuff in here. So I apparently have now been able to look through different filmmaking issues I have to find moments that mean a lot to the franchise and to me as a person. Yeah. So yeah, wooden dialogue aside. Wooden mannequin acting aside. Okay.
And I just want to say to Ben that Revenge of the Sith is my 4th favorite Star Wars movie. So yes, I adore it dearly.
Good. It is. I don't know where it is for me. Definitely not in the top 3, but that's all the original for me. But somewhere in the top 5 or maybe 6, but I would have to think about it. But I don't think it's. I mean, I think it's the better of the prequels by far, and I think the prequels are better than the sequels, so it's probably high up there. But looking at Star Wars media as a whole, like, as much as I'm down on a lot of the movies, I'm not like that about a lot of the TV shows or a lot of the comics or, of course, Legends, and just how well this whole universe is built, and how literally thousands and thousands of creatives throughout the years have tossed their hat into a ring and just made one little special story that's hidden, deep, deep into the bowels of Legends, and then you read it and you're like, holy crap, like, this is amazing. And, it's just part of this huge universe. And then 30 years later, some dude in a novel can totally like reference that. And you're like, whoa, is this guy referencing this? Like, it's I think that, Star Wars is special more than because of the movies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know me. Like, I love the animated shows, and I love the books and comics. So,
well, speaking of your books and comics, so I might have the weirdest one, since this was literally from a trailer of a video game, but that might be the most out there one. But I would love to see what you got next.
Okay. So let's talk about this one, since we've been talking a little bit about, let's see, make sure it's the right one. Yeah. So here we have, oh, good. That'll work out nicely. So here we have Darth Vader #6, the original Darth Vader run in canon. So there have been 3 Darth Vader runs. So this takes place.
I remember reading this for the first time. I know this panel right up. I know exactly.
Yeah.
I know exactly what's going on. Yeah.
So, so this takes place, between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And Boba Fett has just had an encounter with Luke and discovered his last name. And so here at the 3rd panel down, you see Boba Fett say Skywalker. And Vader then proceeds to have flashbacks. Ooh. And like, oh my God, like, when I was reading this, I was just like, whoa, oh my gosh, like, flashbacks always get me, but like, this was just epic. And then he flashes back to the Emperor, and then you see him start his fist at the bottom. You see one little crack in the middle, and then he starts to ball his fist up. And then the Force just lets go, and he busts the entire window out. And Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're
fine. I want to go back a little. I'll put them up.
Okay.
But you know, he drops the bomb of, oh, by the way, it's your son, yo, and then he has all those like, oh, they're still alive. Holy crap! But Vader is in a mask, right? So we see the back of his head for, you know, very emotionless because it's back of a helmet, and then we see his face again, no emotion. The first hint of emotion we get is a crack on the window. And then his fist, and the fist, like Vader's fist clenching is the same as anyone else breaking down, like screaming. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's a good point.
Being such an emotionless husk of a dead, like pretty much a dead man, you know, like that clench is the same as me having like a panic attack, like a nervous breakdown, crying on my friend's shoulder. And that just, you know, like, oh, that's what I love about it. That's what I love about that scene, is all that emotion drawn in a comic. Hey, Double D, happy birthday! Write out your list.
Hello.
But yeah, that's so cool of you know, and also, you know, talk about just a really well paneled and everything.
Oh, gosh, yes, I love how I mean, this moment. It's got to be like a few seconds.
Yeah.
And they made it into 4 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And it works. Like, because sometimes when they stretch stuff out, you know, it's like, that was unnecessary. But this, like, it works. So.
Look at all that from Boba's point of view. Like, he's just sitting there being a dude from New Zealand, Space New Zealand. And he's just hanging behind that helmet. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, it's some name, Skywalker. Oh my God.
That's a good point.
We're going to die if that class breaks. Can you not? Fucking space wizards. Why am I always working for space wizards? What are we doing? Oh, all right. Good moment. I like that a lot. Holy crap. That was a good one. Yeah. All right. I don't have anything as cool. All right, I'll do one. And this is one of my badasseries. And I was only getting one tiny little clip of a actual much bigger moment. Let's see what the comments. Yeah, that was. Absolutely. It's a great moment.
I love it.
Okay, so this is when little 6th grade Mark's brain went, because up until this moment we're about to talk about, we had, I can count the amount of Jedi duels, right? We had old Ben and Vader. We had Vader Luke, Qui-Gon, Maul in the desert for 2 seconds, and then Duel of Fates, right? And then out of nowhere, we see the Colosseum erupt of all these Jedi that we've never seen. And it literally is an army of these super powered dudes who are there to save Obi-Wan Kenobi and you know, and Padawan, or in Padme. It literally was like, when that call goes out to the Jedi, you're like, no way they're going to do that. Like, Mace Windu shows up and you're like, cool, Mace Windu showing up. And then when everybody, and not only that, but what this did for the lore is now you have to explain who the dude with the green tentacles on his head is. Now you have to explain who that guy is. Now that guy gets a backstory. Now that guy gets a backstory. She gets a backstory. And guess what? We got Luminara Unduli, Barasafi, Kit Fisto, Plo Koon. How many people did we get for? Well, I guess we saw Plo Koon in Phantom Menace, but still, all these characters that we either just saw sitting in the Jedi Council chamber. We now see them ignite lightsabers. Ki-Adi-Mundi, or as he's known in the Schmodown, Ki-Mundi. I fought that so hard. It's like, we were going to accept that. I'm like, the hell you are going to accept that. Yeah, I love my favorite Jedi is Qui-Jin. Yeah, see how that doesn't freaking work? Anyways. I don't think my obsession with Jedi of that era, but not only that, but just Jedi fighting each other and just like, you know, because because they were like warrior monks until this moment. They were like monks who kept their lightsaber sheathed, and then all of a sudden it's like, nope, whoom! All of the whole Colosseum erupts of these Jedi, and that blew my mind when I was a kid. And we would reenact it. We would pause it and be like, that weird alien, who's that? Like it. Like I just remember how cool that was, and still to this day, like that scene's still so hype. And they're about to execute, and then you see like freaking Jules Winfield from Pulp Fiction's walking down the freaking hall, and then a purple lightsaber gets lit up right in front of Django, and you're like, oh no, it's going down, and then just lightsabers everywhere. I don't think so. Awesome possum.
I love that you love that scene.
Oh yeah, that's me and you talking about a scene we're about to bring up. I like that you care about this crap.
I love that scene.
Yeah,
I admit, like it. You're right that it added so much lore. Like it added all these different Jedi that now have. Like, the two Jedi that gave Obi-Wan and Anakin their lightsabers, Sefjet Josal and Mikanas Tasu.
I can't believe you know him. I was once quizzing Gold Leader and I asked him who they were, and he got them. And it took me like 3 hours to get that answer before I asked him. I kept like, so who are these guys? Who are these? Like, I had to go through hardcore forums to find those character names. Those are probably like the two Jedi in that scene are like the only ones who like have not had anything real built up on them.
Yeah,
like those guys are not built up at all. Like we could talk about Luminar Unduli, we could talk about David Balaba, Kit Fisto. We could talk about so many. I know their lightsaber forms, yo. I know Kit Fisto's everything about his lightsaber form. He's one of the best Shicho masters ever. You know why? Because of this scene. That's how I know that.
That's awesome. Oh no.
Sorry. No, I'm still working on a cold. I had a cold my entire vacation. I've been congested for like 3 weeks. No, it's not COVID. But as a lightsaber like versus video fanatic, and as like a lightsaber form fanatic, and just what if we put this guy versus this guy type dude is like, that's a big part of the fandom that I love. It wouldn't exist without this scene.
That's a good point. Yeah,
and that's why I love it. So
my my favorite part of that scene, besides just the excitement that all these Jedi are showing up, I love the C-3PO humor. I hate it.
I hate it. That's the one thing I don't like.
When he gets toppled over and Kit Fisto has that like ridiculous smile on his face.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love it.
He's a fun-loving dude, that Kit Fisto. You know that he smokes weed. Like Kit Fisto rolls the ganja, dude. He just comes off that way. And I love that in Clone Wars. I never pictured him talking and acting like he does in Clone Wars. And I believe it's Phil Lamar who does his voice. Am I right?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure. But anyways, he's like Rastafarian. Like his head tentacles are very, very dread-like, and they're all pushed back, and he's very like, no, man. Like he's like, I loved it. I was like, I would have never gone that way. And I love that for Kit Fisto. I love that journey for you, David. But yeah. But all right.
Okay. Going off of that, I will do this one. Yeah.
I knew it. I was like, we're staying in Attack of the Clones, aren't we? So, how did this movie get this many moments?
But oh my gosh, the foreshadowing, just all the clone troops. You see the ATTE that will, over time become other things. and the Acclamator class assault ships, which will become Star Destroyers. And it's just, and then you get this, and
so good.
All the troopers, and just, oh my gosh, just, and the music. The music in this scene, like
it's really powerful. I remember the first time I saw it, and I was like, "So the Empire already? Like is that a little early, guys? Like we're doing the Empire already, huh?" I don't know what senator watched this, and they're like, "This isn't problematic. Like this is clearly problematic."
So yeah, I love reading stories that came before. I love prequels as a rule. In like
so many people don't know.
So the fact that it like showed me how things became the way they were going to be, that was right up my alley.
Exactly, Ben. Yeah. I mean it depends on, the story in the movie of my rule on prequels, like, but like horror movies, I hate horror movie prequels, like things like that. But I really look at I call it the prequel trilogy. But to me, in my brain, my weird lizard brain, the Star Wars universe is so big, and it's so much more than 3 movies, and it's so much more than the original trilogy, even though it's my favorite trilogy by a freaking lot. But it's so weird to look at it that way, because normally a prequel to me is like, oh, how did Michael Myers become evil? I don't need to have that answered, but this is showing us this giant world. It was less of a prequel to the original story. It's less of that and more of widening the lens to this giant, vast universe. And as much as I will talk crap, because there's a lot I dislike about just what we're looking at here. I hate how CGI this looks. I hate how cartoon it looks. There's so much I dislike about this. But I love the how much world we got in the prequel trilogy. It taught us so much. We didn't have anything before. We didn't know what Coruscant was. We didn't ever know what the Senate looks like. Like they say, the Imperial Senate doesn't, blah, blah, blah. Like that's all we knew about the Senate.
Yes,
like we had one line. And that's it. So this scene is one of the best of of actual foreshadowing that we get in the original trilogy. And I've just realized how good the third act of Attack of the Clones is. That's all we've talked about.
Whenever I put on, I used to do this all the time. I would put on I forget what it's called, but it's like the last 15 or so minutes. Hello.
Hi, Zane.
Hello. Last 15 minutes or so of the soundtrack. And it's just starting at Dooku's fight, going into the foreshadowing, going into the wedding. And it's just like that whole section of the soundtrack is just epic.
I was this close to have Yoda igniting his lightsaber as being one of my moments, but then I was like, I'm not doing this many Attack of the Clones moments. We got one more from Jekka of, when the Porgs experience hyperspace. That is so cute. I knew that all of hers are going to be cute because she likes Star Wars for the cuteness. But that is great. Is this before or after Chewbacca just eats one in front of them? Oh my god. How sentient are the Porgs?
Not.
Okay, good. Because I feel like I could eat a pigeon in front of pigeons and they would just keep not give a crap.
Yeah. It's still a little
still a little not
awkward.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's her third favorite moment when Chewbacca eats one in front of him. Here we go. One of my favorite Star Wars scenes is in the sequel trilogy when Rey and Kylo fight the Praetorian Guards. Yes. And I really do like a lot of that of that whole fight scene. I got my weird lightsaber stuff where I'm like, that's not how you use a lightsaber, but because I think Kylo Ren is one of the worst duelists of all time. Fight me, but I do really like that scene.
I like how you can put that scene to literally any
music
song, and it's fantastic.
Don't Stop Me Now, Queen, the Supersonic Man. That's my favorite. The Don't Stop Me Now, because I'm having a good time, and it fits perfectly. Having a ball.
I like Britney Spears' Toxic.
I haven't seen that.
It's good. It's good.
Pork chops. Now you're making me hungry. I bet some type of glaze on that. Some like raspberry glaze. Oof. Class 4 civilization. That's all we get. The Pork Czar? Okay. And yes, I haven't read it yet because it's too much, but I think I know what Ben's about to say. There's a difference between great world building and forcing stories to fill in gaps. Prequels were great world building. Good point.
Yes.
And Kenobi is the other thing. Sorry, I had a cough.
But that's something I've always said, that the prequels were really wonderful at world building.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why Force Awakens wasn't that great for me, is because it doesn't have any world building.
No, and it really doesn't. It has it and that's what you can say about the original trilogy is the original trilogy doesn't feel as massive as the prequels do. And I love the original trilogy for a gazillion reasons, and a lot of the reasons why I hate the other movies. But it's literally, it's like a family drama. Like, it's so closed off, and that's exactly what the sequel trilogy feels like to me, but less good. Like, but it doesn't have a lot of. For me, it doesn't have a lot of those other things. I know you've got I see your list. I can see your pictures. I know what you're about to do. I know what you're about to do to me, and I have to lie my way through it. But it's still it's weird. But I think the biggest mistake the original trilogy ever did was make Luke and Leia related. And I've lived, I'm okay. It's fine. But I hate that there's a galaxy, huge galaxy, and the 4 people we meet are freaking family. Like, everyone's related. Like, there's a dude who I stopped being friends with 15 years ago. We've still lived in the same city. I've ran into him once.
Yeah.
Same city. And they just randomly pick up his twin sister? What, really? Like, it's so weird to me. And it's bad storytelling to me. But whatever. I've moved on. But what I'm saying is, is the prequel trilogy sequel trilogy never mind, I was right the first time. The prequel trilogy did feel like a vast, huge story where we're looking at the toppling of a government and less of like a weird family Skywalker drama. Yeah. Which the other ones are. Yes. Weirdly, kind of on my list. We'll get to it. But yeah, I think Duel of Fates is one of my favorite lightsaber fights. When we did a lightsaber fight tier list, it was S tier, easily. And yeah, the music, choreography, Ray Park's his stunts, everything. Like, he's the best actor that ever touched a lightsaber, period. But so much is done right in Duel of Fates. Well, now that we're getting everyone talking now, I was like, God, I wish people were sending in their stuff. And now I'm like, all right, just calm down. Diet Coke version of the trilogy.
I thought you'd like that one.
That's pretty good. That is pretty good. And then, isn't the, I hate that of the Force. Wait, what about this plot hole? The Force. Oh, shut up. All right, we got so many now, and my favorite scene is either the Darth Maul fight, and the arena fight, which we kind of just talked, and then the high grounds. I think that's the one major fight we don't have on our list is the unsuit brand new Vader versus Obi-Wan Mustafar, which the only reason, because I have a lightsaber fight that I want to talk about later, but the one reason why the Mustafar fight doesn't do it for me it's about 50% too long. And they have one really long lightsaber fight, and then a second really long lightsaber fight with Palpatine versus Yoda, and it's intercut, and they're both bloated. And like, I love both of them right when they start, and like 5 minutes in, I'm like, somebody kill somebody. Like, it's just it feels so long to me and so bloated. And I also, you know, when you want to talk about wooden dialogue, it's kind of the high ground. That whole scene is some of the, like, they're reading the first draft. It really does feel like Lucas had one more pass. Like, he has the outline of a scene, and they just decided to read the outline. It's like, no, you're saying the subtext out loud. Like, I get that he was always a brother to him, but you don't have to have the character say that. Like, that's the subtext. That's how that whole scene feels to me. It's very bad writing. Sorry.
See, it makes that I get real emotional with the last third of Revenge of the Sith. Like, the entire last third just makes me so emotional.
I feel like I'm dropping trow and shitting, like, right in front of you whenever I talk negative about the movies. You're always like, and I'm like, it's part of her childhood just died. I saw that.
Oh
yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Symbolism. Boom.
Very nice.
Feminism killed Jabba the Hutt.
Love it.
I like that I claim that's feminism when they had to put her in the slave Leia suit. But, like, I get the times, but she's hot and Hoth when she's wearing a freaking a parka. So you don't need to put her in the slave Leia suit.
Yeah.
Sun Tzu was not saying that. When he said high ground, he didn't mean physical, like one dude trying to jump over another guy. That's not what he meant when he talked about the high ground. All right, guys, we should be fighting on this cliff so we can shoot arrows on them, and so they can't jump over us. Yes, that too, Jim, but it's mostly so we have a tactical advantage to shoot arrows at them. That's my Sun Tzu talking to George Lucas. That's my impression. I call him Jim instead. That's what Sun Tzu really meant when he said, I always get the tactical advantage with the high ground in the art of war, not so somebody doesn't try to jump over you. The chat is blowing up. Loving it. We'll never get to. We need to ignore them to just get to our next one. Is it you? No, we just did our foreshadow. Your foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's you.
Okay, we sure?
I think so.
I've done just 2. Okay. Well, we were just mostly talking about Duel of Fate, so let's do my Duel of Fate. Yeah. So it's not the full battle. Like, of course, I just said I consider it one of the best lightsaber fights of all time, but the first time I saw this couple seconds at the end of Phantom Menace, when the door opens and we see the dude who's been chasing them the whole time, and then his lightsaber does something new. And the first time I saw that double-bladed lightsaber in that badass design of Darth Maul and that look, my childhood changed. We used to, here I'm going weird. We used to beat each other up with golf, like if you ever golf, where you put it in the golf bag, but there's those plastic separator tubes that you put your golf ball or your golf clubs in. Me and my brother used to take my stepdad's golf bag and take the golf clubs out and then take out the tubes and lightsaber fight with them because we were poor and we didn't have lightsabers, right? And we used to go one-on-one, and then that scene happened, and then we realized we could bend one in twist, and then we were both doubling after that. That's how much that everything was double lightsaber after that. And then Attack of the Clones came out, and then we were using 2 after we saw that you could use 2 lightsabers at the same time. But that Darth Maul is my favorite character from Phantom Menace because, I mean, he's just this evil dude who chases them in that movie, but the design, the lightsaber, the stunt acting, and the fact that Ray Park choreographed that entire fight. Holy crap, it's so good. It's like it's Star Wars. It's so good. And
it's good stuff.
It's stuff that the original trilogy didn't really have. It's that kind of choreography. Like, it got better, but it didn't. Like, the Duel of Fates did not exist in the original trilogy. Like, nothing like that did.
Yeah.
So there you go. So we could talk about how the whole Duel of Fates, but really, this moment it changed me as a Star Wars fan. I love it. Love it so much.
Did they show that scene in the trailer, or was it just in the movie?
I don't know. I don't remember watching the trailers because I was 11, right? Did it come out in 2000 or 99?
99.
So I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And I was poor. YouTube didn't exist. I think I just knew it was coming up because every single chain restaurant in the entire galaxy was putting out commemorative freaking drink holders.
For a long time, I had like this giant container under my bed filled with like cereal boxes,
promotional,
all these different Phantom Menace promotional things.
Taco Bell had 4 posters that I saved up money to go eat Taco Bell. I walked down to the Taco Bell. I was 10 years old, about a mile, and I would buy a Taco Bell to get this poster. And it was 4 different characters. And I can't even remember who they are at this point. I really can't remember which characters they were. Probably one was Obi-Wan. Probably one was Qui-Gon. Maybe Maul and Anakin. Maybe. I don't know. But I did know that if you put them next to each other, they ran into each other. That it was a big 4-poster that all seamlessly connected. And that was on our wall for like 5 years. Like, when we moved, which we moved every year, because my mom just never signed another lease, I guess. I don't know. We brought those posters with until they were so ripped up from us constantly moving into new houses that I couldn't use them anymore. But I loved those posters. So yeah, promotional Phantom Menace was like a large part of my childhood.
That's awesome.
All right, we got some. You got a pog.
I love that.
That's some good promotional. I got my Obi-Wan Kenobi Taco Bell slammer. Wham! All right. Jar Jar Binks lollipop. You can suck his tongue. Yeah, that's a good moment. I like that we're just going to. That's totally a thing. Do you not remember that, Marie?
No.
Yeah.
I was very confused by this comment. Okay.
Yeah. That's why I put them up without reading them. Because I don't get confused. I just go, all right. But yeah, no, I like that we just went on a big tangent of Force Awakens, or not Force Awakens, Phantom Menace promotional art. And that we barely even touched the surface. The Pepsi cans and Pepsi bottles with characters on them was the first time I ever saw Darth Maul. And because they didn't do multiple colors, his makeup was black and white. And I thought that's what he looked like. And then in the movie, when it was red and black, I was like, is there 2? Is there going to be one popping up who's white and black? Like, thank you, Pepsi.
That's funny.
Yeah, that memory came out of nowhere. That I have not thought that and probably since then. That's a deep one. Well, it's so great because of how formative these movies were. Like, they came out when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And, you look at, like, even though I don't love them the way, maybe I once did, but since they came out at such a formidable time, I have a cajillion memories. It's like a core part of my life. And then even if I love a movie now, probably going to watch it twice. Like, I'm not going to watch it 1,000 times, like, before I had a wife and a kid and a job, like I could watch these movies every day, and I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I love that.
All right. You gonna do one?
Yeah. I'll go ahead. I want to save the. Well, I want to save one of them for last, but I'm gonna do this one.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah. And I'm all the Jedi. Oh my gosh! Like, the thing is, I was not a Rey fan before I came into this movie, and then like that moment after, I know that she's a Palpatine and has all that blood baggage weighing down on her because of her family, like, and she just overcomes it and is like, nope, I'm not going to be. And coming from me, in Last Jedi, I wanted Rey to go evil. I wanted her to go dark. But this, for some reason, because she went through that journey of overcoming all of that, all of the precognition she was having about this future where she was sitting on the Sith throne, and just dealing with all these, like, the lightning coming from her fingers and like all this stuff she was dealing with, and she overcame it, and she's like, nope, I'm the Jedi. I'm all the Jedi. Take that. And I love it.
I'm glad. I love that journey for you. I have so much to say that I'm not going to say because none of it's positive, and that's not what we're doing here. There's a lot I actually dislike about this scene in particular, as much as this entire movie. But the entire Palpatine thing at the end, the whole third act, really bothered me. And it just like fundamentally, like that's not how the Force works. Like the entire scene, I was like, what? Wait, so he's now has all this power and she's deflecting it because she lit up a second lightsaber. I'm not going to think too much about it. It's almost over. I'm going to go home and sleep. Like, but I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I said I wasn't going to be negative.
See, the way I see it is not that it was just a second lightsaber, but that all the Jedi's power was behind her. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Yep. There.
I mean, that would have been cool, but
it was fun when I first saw it, but yeah.
But I love hearing all the different Jedi voices, and
they went and got some really cool deep cuts for it too.
Yeah, like even Kanan was on there. Mm-hmm. Like that's so cool that they did that. And what I want to read this.
Yeah. I'll put it up. But yeah, the Force Ludes, the dyad of the Force shirtless pics. Like when you really want to, are just crushing on a girl and you want to have a conversation with her, but you also want them to see how hot you are, but you want to pretend like it's not on purpose. So it's like, oh, sorry, I'm just about to get into the shower. He did that through the Force.
Yeah.
Darth nipples. I love all the weird body shape memes that came out of that scene because the high belt just made his torso look so distorted.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So just I also love how as she's saying it, there's like I love the choreography or the like staging of her movements with the timing of the pulling up the second saber. Sorry.
See, the scene is hurting you. It's distorting you.
So I made a.
We know.
The first video I ever made with video editing software when I was getting ready to do Afra's Artifacts and figuring all that out was a video of I'm all the Jedi. And so I've liked it for a while.
I know, and like, I never will crap on your love as much as like I will never. Also, I'll never censor myself. I'll never pretend like I don't dislike something.
Yeah,
because that's just as dishonest or
yeah.
But I wish, as a forever my entire life Star Wars fan, that I liked every Star Wars movie. I walk into every Star Wars movie. I don't want to dislike. It's my favorite franchise. I don't want to leave a Star Wars movie disappointed. And I do a lot more often than I don't. Yeah. And it's thanks to the now inflation of Star Wars movies. Back in the day, we just had 6. But now it's like tipped where I like the minority of them. And I hate that. I don't like that. That sucks. So yeah. I wish I could look at them the way that other people do and in the way you do, and have a scene that like actually made me want to leave a Star Wars movie, like get up and walk out. But I would have to explain it to my wife, and but like, so I'm not going to. I love that you loved it. I love that it meant something for you and what they were trying to do, that it affected you there. That's awesome, and yeah, so I'll never try to take that away from you. I thought they were all going to be Grogu moments, so I'm and also I also find Adam Driver extremely hot. So go ahead, make my day. It's fine. He's a freaking tower of sexy man meat. We used to have a bunch of hot Kylo pics that we would put up constantly. By we, I mean Soda when he produced it. But yeah. Want to do one? You want to move on?
Yep.
All right. It's a cartoon. It's involving Maul. It is a lightsaber fight. And here it is. That's all. The choreography, everything about the old Ben versus Maul fight. The first time I watched that in Rebels, it's the best episode of Rebels, and it's actually like almost like the entire reason to watch Rebels for me is I think that fight scene is so perfect for a lot of reasons. For what it tells us about old Ben, of how he didn't just sit there and hang out in the Dune Sea, that you don't need to be doing push-ups in a Rocky montage to become more powerful as a Jedi. What instead he did was reached into himself, and he developed this literally circle of protection with the living force, and how he is so at one. And Maul at that time was fractured and broken, and he's just this broken man, and he's there for an unpure reason, to murder somebody out of vengeance, and it's all he's ever done that's consumed his mind, and he's literally like ran the entire criminal underworld, and he's manipulated so much just so he can get back and do this. And it means nothing because he's fueled by that. Mm-hmm. He's not even a Sith anymore. He's just a broken man, like literally cut in half. But you know what I mean? Like he's just a husk of a man. And Obi-Wan's not. He's at center with himself. Dude's Zen. You're going to fight a Zen dude. And I loved how it just done. I'm not playing with you. I'm not having a vicious fight. Here's my opening. Done. And then at the end of it, when he literally holds Maul as he dies and tells him, yeah, the chosen one's like right over there. And he's like, that's nice. Whatever Maul says. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah. I can keep going, but I would like to hear your thoughts on it. I'm going to play it one more time. So, love it.
My first reaction to that scene was just that it was like the opposite, that it felt really short. But yeah. But I like what you said about it. Like that makes a lot of sense. So it being short, isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Well, I'm not doing it justice. Like this is only half of the fight, honestly. Because like there's one more hit before Obi does that, or old Ben does that. But there's a lot of this pre-fight too where both of them have like 2 or 3 stance changes, and it's a lot of it's straight from Seven Samurai of there is a fight that's all getting ready, like, oh, you clearly know I'm attacking from here, and then he changes his stance. It's like, all right, never mind. This is my opening stance, and they like did that a couple times. But also, it goes on to Form 3 Surisu and how Old Ben is a master of the defensive form. He is a wall of protection. He was able to just fight off General Grievous, like 4 lightsabers come at him at once, and he just goes, oh, this, oh, this. And, you're not going to just flail at him and get through the defenses. And if he wanted to toy with this prey the way that he used to be, if he was still fun-loving Obi-Wan, he probably would have fought Maul for a second and kind of like talked him out of it or tried to negotiate with him, because he's also called the negotiator.
Yeah.
But that's not him anymore. He's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's not just going to fight him off and cut his lightsaber down until he, and then talk to Maul. He's over it. He's not a Jedi. He's, bam, leave me alone. And I love it. I think it's tied with my favorite lightsaber fights of the entire fandom period. And including Duel of Fates, and Maul's in like all of my favorite lightsaber fights, but like Duel of Fates, his fight versus Ahsoka at the end of Clone Wars. And yeah, those are all my favorite lightsaber fights, but that's definitely one of them.
I guess another thing that did not jive with me very well when I saw that scene was him saying that the chosen one was Luke. Because I was like, okay, now I don't know about all that mess. Like, I have a T-shirt that says Anakin is the chosen one.
Anakin is the chosen one. But when you really like screw up a business, your son has to take it over and fix it. It just moved down. I know Luke definitely isn't the chosen one. Because he becomes an old and angry man who tries to kill his nephew. No, let's not talk about that. But yeah, I think I didn't read Knapsack's book, but I remember a lot of my opinion changed because of Knapsack as well, and it was on whatever podcast they were still doing back then. I think that was still the Snow's No movie show, but Knapsack did talk, or maybe it was Jedi Council. I think it was Jedi Council was still a thing. What's the deal with canon? But either way, I think it was Ken that changed my opinion, or not really changed, but because I loved it when I first saw it from a lightsaber standpoint. And then when he brought up, because that's where I got a lot of that Old Ben is at Zen and Maul's all emotionally broken. And a lot of that resonated a lot with me. And that's why I remembered it. But I think that was Ken the first person I heard say that. But I don't know. A lot of my Star Wars fandom, I don't know when it happened. Could have been AMC Movie Talk that I was watching, as far as I know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I got one left, so you must have one left.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. My last one. This one, it kind of spans 2 comic books.
Yeah, I'm looking at like 5 pictures here for your
I know
your moment.
So, I forgot to show that this is a callback from my very first one that I showed. This is the cover of the issue where Vader discovered Skywalker was the pilot who destroyed the Death Star.
Yeah, I remember.
So
I definitely own that one.
6. Yeah. But this is a Dr. Aphra moment.
Yeah.
Yay! So it's super bittersweet, and it reminds me of something that I've been through. So Aphra knows that. Well, I'll show you. So it starts in Dr. Aphra 40. This is the first Dr. Aphra series. They're on the second one now. and this one took place between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. And on the right, you see Magna Tolvan, who was her lover is the best word to use. Like, they weren't anything official, really. And then Velada is the girl on the left. And so these were two people that meant a lot to Aphra, but she screwed both of them over. And she realized, you know what? Well, I'll just show you. Love is letting go.
Oh.
And she, at this moment, what she's doing right now, flying away from Vader, who she just had an encounter with, and Vader is in this like force field, and Aphra used his vocoder to change the probe droids that were going out looking for the rebels to change what their order was. So Hoth was spared by at least a couple weeks.
Wow.
So it's like, not only is she saying, I'm like, she has just left her friends, her Velada, you know, someone she really cared about, Magna Tolvan, an ex that she really cared about, her dad as well. She has left them with the rebels, and she's like, but I can't stay with y'all because I screw everything up. And she leaves. And then you get Empire Ascendant, which was the lead in to the next set of series. So it went from Empire Ascendant has some of Empire Strikes Back in it, and it leads into after. And you get this where you have Tolvan on the left, Velada in the middle, and Aphra's dad on the right. And Tolvan's like, they're talking about, where do you think Aphra is? Do you think she's at one of those stars up in the sky? And Tolvan's like, well, I think she's somewhere in between. And it's just like, and they're accepting that Aphra has let them go, and Aphra's accepting that she let them go. And it's just really like heavy emotionally, but it's sweet at the same time. It's just a very bittersweet overall moment situation. So
I love that you can take this entire galaxy of wars, literally wars in the stars, and thousands of years of history, and you're like, this person's emotional journey, like down to one person going, I gotta be an asshole. Like, wow.
Yeah.
It's good. I knew it had something to do with Aphra. When you sent me like and an Aphra moment, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. And I'm sure she's rolling her eyes when I'm like, and Darth Maul is killing this guy. You're like, sure. I do think my favorite thing about us doing the show together is our love for Star Wars is so powerfully equal, but like it's equal in its intensity, but it's so different. Like, I could be like, hey, there's this thing I love, and you're like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know who that is. And then you're like, yeah, number 40 of Dr. Aphra. I'm like, they made 40 of those? And then you're like, of the first volume, they made 2 volumes? Crap. It's a lot of Aphra I didn't know about.
Yeah, it is.
I only knew Aphra from when she was introduced in Vader, and then, 4 or 5 issues of that before I stopped reading it. And that was all I know of. Like, I know her as a character. I remember her introduction. I have that comic. I remember how it was a big deal. And yeah, I remember you were only able to buy one, and there was a big sign. I'm like, why does it say I can only buy one. And he's like, because they're already being sold on eBay for $20. I'm like, oh wow. And it was the week they came out. The introduction of Dr. Aphra. I was emptying my box because they would put every comic in a box and on Tuesdays, and I would go there either Tuesday or sometime early, like right after, to empty out my box of comics. And it would be, because whatever comics I'm reading, things from Image, things from not a lot of DC, but Marvel and Star Wars. And that one had a big sign, you can only buy one. And I was only going to buy one anyways, because I'm not a collector, I'm a reader.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? It's like, because they're already quadruple the price. I'm like, holy crap.
That's like, wow.
What if the character sucks? Apparently she doesn't, because you literally made an entire YouTube channel about, it's not about Aphra, but I mean it's called Aphra's Artifact.
It's inspired by her, yeah.
Yeah. But
for sure.
That's great. I loved it. I love that these panels in Aphra 40 can mean something to you. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want to do our last one and get out of here? I thought this was going to be like a 45-minute show. We're doing good.
Yeah.
We're going to go and get out of here. But thanks to the comments have been great. And you guys sending in
absolutely.
moments. Yeah, that's been great. Oh, one of them came in. It says we suck. Oh, dang it. Yeah, there you go. It's every time they ever say
I like that. That's good.
There was a Super Star Wars Empire Strike, or I think it was an Empire. It was just Super Star Wars for the Super Nintendo. There was a glitch where, like, if you do whatever on the stage, it wasn't the tattooing stage where you fight through. It's the Death Star stage later on as Luke, and you have a lightsaber. And you can do something and break the stage, and the sounding turns to the tattooing stage, and all stormtroopers say "Utini" when you kill them. And it's one of the funniest.
That is
find
fantastic.
It on YouTube. You just kill a stormtrooper. It's like, it's like it's like a weird glitch. I just saw something of. I might have said half of that information wrong, but that's a thing. Probably is a completely different game, but I know I've seen that. That's all I'm saying. All right, ready for my last one?
Yeah.
Did you know what this is my number one, even though we said it was like, different orders. I did save my absolute favorite for last, and I did use the Ridiculous Legends one first. So, did you know that this would be in my list?
Hold on. I can't remember.
I'll say it, but it's Yoda's monologue in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, okay.
So I know that doesn't narrow down. Okay, so it's specifically because I do love the, I can't believe it. Well, that's why you failed. Like that. That's amazing stuff. Literally, all of his teaching moments are great. You must unlearn what you have learned. Judge me by my size. Do you? All that stuff's good. Like, don't get me wrong. It was really hard to decide what Yoda moment is my favorite. But this actual monologue does almost bring me I think it's the best performance in the entire series, and it's a puppet. it's Frank Oz underneath the freaking floor doing it, sitting in the muck that was underneath the soundstage of the Empire Strikes Back set, and because they had to put this entire ecosystem above the ground so he could be under it, and yeah, so I couldn't find a good thing, so I just have the ending for my GIF. I couldn't find a good picture for it, so I just have the "You will be" is all I could find, which is like my least favorite moment of that moment. But that speech, which I do have memorized, but he shows up acting all obnoxious and is messing with his stuff. He's already schooling Luke. Luke doesn't know it yet, but this little green guy's already teaching him a lesson. Like, he starts off, all right, let's see how much patience this boy has. And he messes with him. He's like, oh, sorry, Yoda not far, haha. And he's just literally running him in circles until Luke breaks. And he's like, you don't even know him. Well, why am I here? And just stands up all mad. And then he's like, no, done. Like, get out of my house. And he tells, Obi-Wan, like, I can't teach him. Boy has no patience. And I'm not going to act out the whole scene. But yeah, the boy has no patience. And he's like, he will learn patience. And will he begin? And then that's when Luke realizes what's going on. And then when he's like, I'm ready, tell him I'm ready. And that's when the monologue starts. So the what knows ready. For 900 years, 800 years, I've trained Jedi, my home council, where I could pick to who's to be trained. But it's that later part of the speech where for years I have watched him and he looked away to the future, to the horizon, and never on where he was and what he is doing. Adventure, excitement, a Jedi craves not these things. You are reckless. That is so good. Like, it gives me chills because it's literally everything we've been seeing. It's him rushing, and it's him trying to be the hero, and him getting the call to adventure. And it's Yoda saying, don't worry about the call to adventure. You're not ready for the call to adventure. I know you're listening to John Williams as you're looking at your twin sons and you're looking to the future, but that's what got your aunt uncle killed. That's what, it's you looking to the future and you wanting to be the hero is why you fail. And I love that monologue. It is so good. And yeah, I honestly think it's the best part of the entire series. And yes, the Yoda song about seagulls that got made out of that monologue, I equally love. It's the best. It's the same monologue too.
I know.
That's Audio Ginger, by the way. If you have a song stuck in your head and you got to get it out, listen to that. That beat, the hoo 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 will knock any song out of your head. First time I saw that, they came out with just the talking scene. It wasn't the full song. And it was just that you're kind of pitchy. Don't fall asleep. It's just that little bit. And then whatever misread words or whatever the name of that thing is, then did the full song. The first time I heard that full song, I was stitches crying. Roll the log over, and underneath there was a tiny stick, and I was like, that log had a child.
I was actually gonna say that exact part of that song.
Oh, it's so
that
good.
Part is so fun. I mean, the whole thing's hysterical. Like,
yeah, it's so good. But I also love that that's made of that scene.
Yeah,
it's the scene that I consider the most powerful scene in that entire movie, and they made seagulls, stop it now. Yeah.
now I want to go listen to that song.
All right, Ben's got a good point. If that puppet looked bad, if it didn't work,
if it was really Phantom Menace Yoda,
yeah,
original Phantom Menace Yoda,
Frank Oz would roll in his grave that he sleeps in because he's still alive. I can't believe the first time I went back and watched Phantom Menace. Because it was a puppet when I first saw it. Mm-hmm. Is it still a puppet in the release now?
I think
I don't think it is.
Because I mean that thing was.
Because I'm pretty sure it's but I'm pretty sure it's CG now.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like I hope they still have Oz doing the voice, but yeah, he still does the voice at least. But it's so weird that they ordered a puppeteer and he just happened to be also an actor. And now he's the voice actor to it, but he doesn't do the puppetry anymore. But now he's the voice of Yoda. But I also find it funny that is just not what Frank Oz's career is. Like, it's what so many people know him for. But he directed so many comedies in the 80s, and he was like literally hand in hand with all the National Lampoon's guy. You can see him in the background of, or he has like character actor bit parts because he either directed or wrote in like the original Blues Brothers, in Trading Places, in National Lampoon's Vacation. Like, you could just see him all over, and he was kind of like part of that crowd, that like SNL first class crowd, and everybody knows him as the puppet dude in Star Wars. But yeah, how's it, gigs? You showed up to say hello. How's it going?
Hello.
All right. Okay. You just just watched it. D+ CGI. They did fix it. Okay. Yeah, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's another good Frank Oz. I love Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. All right, now we're just going to talk about.
It's really strange that, like you were saying, Frank Oz did the puppetry and was the voice, whereas like there are a lot of characters in Star Wars, especially in the prequels, when you're talking about Jedi, that
got dubbed over.
Have different actor, and like for example, Nien-Nunb, not a Jedi, but Nien-Nunb in the original trilogy, he was played by Mike Quinn but voiced by Kip Sangradich. And like there were a lot of characters that were played by one person but voiced by another.
I don't know if you've heard of this character, but I know they did that with Darth Vader. Darth Vader did that. Have you ever heard of him? I just think it's messed up they didn't tell the actor that he went to go see the movie and then he heard James Earl Jones's voice and he's like, and then Lucas is going at him, you know, whatever Lucas did. He's like, oh yeah, this is for being a dick at the Christmas party, dude. Like, or whatever he did. They hated each other.
Yeah.
But
crazy.
Yeah, I do love how much drama and how much like crap through all the original trilogy is. Like the fact that masterpieces got made that way is so mind blowing. When you look at them shooting in the middle of the desert and everyone's dying of heat and everyone's just wearing short shorts and that's it, and then you got Anthony Daniels wearing metal plating. You're like, how is he not dead?
I listened to the audiobook of his book, Anthony Daniels' book, and it is so good.
Thanks, Ben. It is? I haven't watched it. You just give me props. You said it. Yeah, audiobook of.
So it's a regular book, but I listened to the audiobook version, and it was narrated by Anthony Daniels. And it was so good. And like the stuff he went through in the original trilogy is insane.
Yeah. Oh. Not to mention the guy who you're gonna know his name, but the guy who was in R2D2, you know, like I normally know his name, but it's not popping in right now. Kenny Baker, thank you. I was gonna say Ken something, but I'm like, oh, I'm just thinking about Ken Knapsack now. I'm just getting it mixed up. But yeah, like that dude was in a tin, like riding around in a tin can in like the Monaco desert. Like, what are you doing? Like it stops, and they're like, keep going, and then he pops out. I'm dying. Get me some water. You got me inside of an RC car in the middle of the desert. Or the fact they had two people inside the tail of Jabba. Like two people in the tail.
Yeah.
There was one person moving it at the end, and there was somebody else doing something else. Like they had like 4 people inside Jabba. Like it's nuts. And like you see like the deleted scenes of like Empire Strikes Back, and like the scenes that are so like vaudevillian joking, like Three Stooges level of dumb. And it's like, oh, thank God they took that out. Like the Wampa, I know I brought it up to you, but there's a scene of like the Wampa makes it into the Hoth base.
Oh yeah.
And it's like very like it looks like it belongs in the holiday special. It looks so bad. And you're like, if they would have put that in, it would have ruined the entire masterpiece of a movie. But and then George did it himself by adding a bunch of CGI crap later on, so never mind.
Yeah. I do like George's last gift, though.
What's that?
McClunky.
Oh, yeah, McClunky.
Because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, that's good. I was so confused because I only watched the original, because when they did the re-release, when the special editions, they came out with the special editions, but they put the original theatricals back in the theater, and I bought the original theatrical releases with the half face cuts.
Yeah.
Right? And then now, still, like, some things I'm like, oh yeah, there's that scene. Like, I'm still like confused, like when Han walks out and he's talking to Jabba. That's still like not how that scene goes. You know, he doesn't talk to Jabba in New Hope. So I didn't know why people were like, Han shot first. Like, Han only shot. Like, for 10 years, I was like, because I never watched anything other than the original, because that's all I have for VHSs. And then I remember I was like my early 20s and somebody bought all the discs and we were watching all the new versions. And I'm like, why did Greedo shoot him? That doesn't happen. And they're like, dude, do you not know what the joke you've been laughing at for the last 10 years means? I'm like, no, I didn't. I only thought Han shot. Yeah.
Wow.
So I do find it funny that a director can just do that. Like, just mess with the movie 20 years later.
It's a little crazy, yeah.
And then he's like, I did it over the originals. We can never get them back. And they're like, dude, no, shut up. You just want them to buy it all again. That's all you want.
Yeah.
Anyways, we talked for an hour and 40 minutes. We got through a bunch of moments and other people sending in stuff. We talked about the Jar Jar Binks lollipop, which I'm so glad got brought up.
I have to go Google this thing.
Yeah,
now.
do it. Yeah, you suck on his tongue.
That is so crazy.
It's very disturbing.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who's watching. And yeah, like, it's great. This is a good show. We are coming back on January. Holy crap. July 23rd for our robot or droid game 2. And actually, this dude here is actually playing it in Rainer. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, there you go. Anytime BD1 does anything, when he hops around him, he poops. Yeah. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then
outros.
Do outros. Yeah. Play us out, John Williams. You want to go first?
Sure. So you can find me on Twitter at Alia Morgaine. Although my blog is a when the mood strikes sort of situation now, I do have hundreds of reviews of Star Wars media on the StarWarsReview.blogspot.com. And then, of course, you can check me out on YouTube at Afra's Artifacts. And the episode coming out this week will be a review of Dr. Aphra 21.
Nice. All right. Volume 2 of Dr. Aphra? Like 21?
The current run.
Okay.
Number 21 of the current run.
All right. Because it's past that. 40 is what I just saw. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You're way behind, gal. I had a lot of fun today. I'm like, it's so much like I went on a huge vacation and I was like so happy that the week after I came back we could get one of these in, just because it was like I feel like it's been weeks and weeks since I was on vacation. It literally feels like when was the last time I did one of these? So you can find me on Twitter at Mark Taco Face, and that's it. That's all I got for Twitter. I am a pretty bad follow. I just do updates for the channel. I'll do, if the Supreme Court passes a bogus decision, maybe I'll comment on it. But mostly on Twitter, I just do updates for this channel. So if you are subscribed, and if you want to know what I'm doing next, normally it's there or it's at the end of my shows. Yeah, that's kind of all I got going on. I'm working on like 2 or 3 different videos, and I'm not so sure of what's coming next besides the robot or droid. Hopefully, my every Pokemon of Gen 1 reviewed in 10 words or less is what I'm working on. But who knows if that's the next one or something else. So, but either way, I'm really glad we got to do this. And yeah. Thanks everybody who's watching.
Thank y'all so much for joining.
Yeah. And that's it. We need to find a good way, like a good goodbye. We've never figured one out. Just yell, bye. Just weird wave. See you guys.